afternoon. My name is Scott Rutledge, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead.
观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看今天的直击美股，我是主持人张叔，在纽约向您问好。周二美股收跌，我们看到今天市场非常关注的就是黄金期货价格的暴跌。黄金期货价格在今天是下跌了3%，也是创下了2013年以来最差的一个交易日。更是创下了价格在英国退欧之后最低的一天。而事实上，关于黄金价格的暴跌，在此前我们的节目当中其实有非常详述的分析，因为在上一个星期，黄金的整个的这个走势就已经显现出了一些疲软的势态。相信关注我们节目的朋友，您一定不会再买入黄金。好的，更多的消息呢，还包括了今天 IMF 国际货币组织是发出了对于2016年全球经济增长的一个数字，预计今年的增长是在3.1%。而这也是与7月份的一个数字保持一致。但是与此同时，包括像联合国发布的数字认为，今年经济增长仅有1.6%，是有一个不小的差距。而另外一方面呢，我们看到今天影响市场的还包括了美联储的官员讲话，其中李士满的美联储官员认为，当前的通货膨胀率是达到了联储的这样一个预期，并且是需要被控制。因此，这也就暗示着11月份的会议上有可能会进行加息。而这样子一个喧闹的声音，也是影响了今天的市场的一些波动。总的来说，今天是进入4季度的第2个交易日，很多的一些对冲基金都会有新的一些资产的分配，而且有很多的基金会流入到我们的市场当中。因此，这也是造成了这2天市场有些波动的一些原因。好的，更多的消息让我们来看一下今天的交易员访谈。Hi Scott, your stocks traded lower today with a rising dollar, and actually it's like the first 2 days of the fourth quarter, and we see some new flows flowing into the market. So do you think today's move is like a buyable dip, or actually we're going to see more weakness in the following weeks?
I would think a little bit wait and see mode. Like you said, first 2 days of the quarter, usually flows come in to buy the market. So if flows are coming in to buy the market and we've had 2 down days, that means there's more selling pressure. So I think there's some vulnerabilities. So I think with earnings season 2 weeks off, I think you take a little bit of care. You look here at the chart of the S&P cash, all in all, we're still fine. But here's your 2-year, resistance that we broke above that we retested here. But all in all, you do have this trend, okay, from the lows here that if we start to break it, we could be back there really quick. Some are actually starting to say that this is looking like a little bit of a head and shoulders top portion where you have the left shoulder, the head, and this little wedge here could be the right shoulder. So if you take a closer look here, if we were to, break and close below this spot, okay, it could yield some weakness fast. So for me, we're below the 8-21 day. I would say be just a bit more careful here, especially in the indices.
Okay, and today the focus is on gold. Gold posted like the worst price after the Brexit and sheds like 3%. And actually, if our viewers, they keep watching our show, they already know there is some weakness over there. So do you like to elaborate more on this topic?
Yes, you know how many times we pointed out the head and shoulders top pattern in the minors, and how many times we talked about the intermediate trend line breaking. So not only did the momentum trend break in the minors, you had the intermediate trend break, and it was below the 8, the 21, and the 50-day, and it had a head and shoulders top pattern. So what more signals could you have looked for? So here is the GDX, so let's show you again, okay, just so next time if you don't miss it. Here is your intermediate trend. Okay, remember this broke right here. Broke below the 50-day, gave you a move lower, came back, retested it, and got rejected. Okay, so from here to here, had a tradable bounce, got rejected, a lower high, and then we've been drawing this neckline here. So here was your left shoulder, okay, here was your head, and this became your right shoulder. And combine that with my moving average rule. What do I mean by my moving average rule? Meaning if you're a momentum trader, you are not in situations that are below the 8 and 21-day moving average. So if you take a look here, what happened in the last 2 sessions? Look, got rejected at the 8 and 21-day, closed below, closed really below. So, combine that with this distribution pattern, all of a sudden, boom, hopefully you had some puts on, you made money short, or at least were out of the way, because I know that a lot of hedge funds were talking about how they were overweighted here. That doesn't mean that they're going to be right. I always listen to the charts, and the charts told me that this changed on this day and this retest.
And in terms of tech sector, actually we got some corporate news from Google. So do you think that will help the tech sector? And I know there were some stocks, they are trading in a very tight pattern. So how do you think about that?
I think that they're a little vulnerable also. You know, Google, let's see what the analysts say tomorrow. All in all, the pattern still is fine. It's just a hard stock. Until it really triggers and takes out this little pattern here, this little downtrend, you know, or this little wedge pattern, I would just be very light. It's holding the 50-day. It's holding above the earnings gap. It's just hard. So maybe tomorrow, if it gets an upgrade, if they like what they see, it can get going and we jump on it. But for now, you know, I would be a little neutral on Google and wait, because you know how many times I've tried it and it hasn't worked yet. But overall, the macro pattern in Google is still just fine. And what do I mean by just fine? Again, you know, big move from the lower end of the channel, held the earnings gap, just not ready to break out and go yet.
Okay, that's all we have for today.
Yes, and again, you got to connect the dots, and you have to have a plan. You know, if you're a member of Red All Access, I do a note every single day, and I try and give you clues on how things should play out based on the technicals, not based on opinions. And these are things that could help you navigate any sector, any stock, and hopefully keep you safe and keep you profitable. Have a great night.
就像 Scott 所说的，我们每天都会为您提供一个可操作的一个买卖策略。好的，感谢您今天的收看，我们明天再见。